I know. Needed to.
Start?
Well, I had to tell your friend to turn off the radio, and I've already started. I had to tell your friend to turn off his radio, and so I already started. Okay.
Now?
Yeah. Now it's you've done.
Give a little bit of this as a lead-in.
You already have. You already have.
Oh, yes.
You already have. I was filming already.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna put that aside.
Now. Yes.
We're on?
We've on for about 1 minute already.
Oh.
2 minutes. Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My name is Odie Hawkins, and here I am with Zola Salena-Hawkins again on Tuesday night. I think this is the last Tuesday in April. And I'm reading, as most of you know, columns that were written in 1996, 1997, 1998, 1999 for the African Times newspaper, Mr. Charles Anchian, publisher. And the reading is to ask you to compare what's going on today with what happened back then. I call this particular column Glances. Glances is what it's called. A little orange juice there. The government of President Ahmed Jejan Kabbah of Sierra Leone recently signed a peace treaty to end an 8-year-old civil war. The Revolutionary United Front, they call it Fode Sanko, won the right to participate in running the country, one of the conditions of the peace treaty. Many citizens in Sierra Leone and others in the international community are dissatisfied, claiming once again that the world has a double standard when it comes to war-battered Africa. The UN and US officials insist that the peace treaty was the best way to stop the violence and prevent war from spilling over into neighboring countries. Mamadou Koroma, Sierra Leone's acting information minister, acknowledged that his government had no choice but to compromise in order to end the conflict. However, the agreement left many people in Sierra Leone feeling angry and frustrated. What the international community is saying is that if people have guns and are willing to commit atrocities, they can have a place in government, said Olu Gordon, political editor at 40 People, Sierra Leone's leading newspaper. Obviously, there are clearly double standards in Kosovo and what happened here, said Gordon. It's like they're saying, let's find a quick fix for Sierra Leone and get this over with. I picture Russia and Ukraine at this point. Gordon and others like him want an international war crimes tribunal for Sierra Leone, like those that were established for the Balkans and for Africa's second worst human rights horror. Leopold's horror in the Belgian Congo came first. The genocide that killed an estimated 800,000 Rwandan Tutsis and moderate Tutus in 1994. Under the peace agreement, rebels have been pardoned, received cabinet posts, and want permission to transform into a political party. The agreement calls for the establishment of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, similar to the one that was set up in South Africa to allow those who committed crimes to confess their guilt in exchange for pardon. President Kabbah has called upon his people to forgive, forget, and move on. Human rights activists argue that the sense of injustice that prevails is likely to fuel continued violence. You don't feel that any peace that is not built on justice will last, because the cycle of impunity is not broken, said Corinne Dufka, a researcher for Human Rights Watch based in Freetown, Sierra Leone. The same feeling holds true in neighboring Liberia, where Charles Taylor's rebel faction contributed to plundering the country during a year of civil war in which 200,000 people died. With more than a dozen peace accords and ceasefire agreements, the international community made ready for any kind of leader as long as the leader brought stability. Critics of this policy say that it was fear of what he might do if he lost, rather than his belief in democratic principles that put Taylor in the driver's seat. What you have is the silence of the heavy weapons, but there is no peace, said Togbanu Tipe, Director General of Susu Cow, a community development organization based in Monrovia. There cannot be peace in the absence of justice. In the Republic of Congo, self-declared President Denis Sassou Nguesso has enshrined himself after ousting elected President Pascal Lissouba in 1997, Marxist tendencies and his unorthodox rise to power. This approach underlies the view of many Africans that for the international community, ensuring stability on their continent far outweighs over how it was obtained. The Wonders of Africa, KCUT, October 25th, see your TV guide for the correct time. There's a generous sense of the psychic DNA kicking in as host, traveler, scholar, African-American Henry Louis Gates takes us into the Africa he has discovered. He strikes a cool balance between pride and simple admiration. There's none of the Yule Hauser, oh my gosh, kind of infantile enthusiasm. No drummed up drama. Yes, there is a 1,000-year history of Nubian control. How long has this America been on record? Yes, there is a 1,000-year history of Nubian control. How long has this America been on record? And yes, the ancient libraries in Timbuktu were magnets for curious Europeans and others, but our guide doesn't find it necessary to discover Wilt Chamberlain's origins in Kenya, or Milt Jackson's vibes in Switzerland, or suggest that every enslaved African was a royal figure. Henry Louis Gates Jr. gives us a reasonable trip, minus the shameless pimping of our psyches that some African Americans are guilty of when they have access to a semi-non-critical media. The Wonders of Africa is a must-see experience for old world Africans, Creole Africans, and others who want a real taste of the cosmic pie. Kick on. At the end of the day, a word about art. Dr. Henry B. Avery, the eminent obstetrician gynecologist, puts this spin on the so-called controversy concerning Chris O'Feely's Virgin Mary at the Brooklyn Museum in Mayor Giuliani's New York. Goes back that far, Giuliani's New York. I have a suspicion that the underlying catalyst for the anger and mean-spirited statement stems from the fact that Mr. O'Feely has imaged the Virgin Mary as an African woman. Of course, only the level 10 racists would be bold enough to accuse the artist of blasphemy by painting the Virgin Mary as an African. The racial smokescreen of concern about vaginas and elephant poo in the frame is fake. A psychologist attempts to displace anger about something that triggers the wildest emotional responses in most diseased minds to even suggest that the mother of Jesus was in Africa. And that was glances. Just glances.
Just glances.
I'm going to go on next Monday to something called African Nights.
All right. Thank you very much for that reading. And
that's it for the moment.
yes, thank you, Linda, again for the typing. And we're looking forward to more of your books. I know you're writing one right now. And your books can be found online primarily at Amazon, Barnes & Noble online. And just Google Odie Hawkins.
Hey.
Your website, revised, thank you, Mario. Your website is www.odiehawkins.com and I think /new. So with
Appreciate that.
With that.
So I'm saying to you,
Ness.